pieces. So what's the assignment? What we're looking for to show me your competence in getting the railings to have transparency and to repeat properly. Because the client's expecting something. And so you want to make sure that they get what they expect. So here's an example. I found this railing online. I thought it looked pretty cool. And I can see that there's some repetition, and it could be easy to cut out the important piece. If you take a look at it, if you cut out from here and over to here and back up to here and back, you're going to have a repeat that kind of makes sense, where you've got different color center pieces and different color outer pieces, something like this. And so when you put it in here, it looks pretty good. And then you use this text tool and you'd write where you found it. So there's where I found it. If it's a picture that you found online, you don't know how to get to it, or you got it on Facebook, you know how to get to it, why don't you save the image and put it right on the board? Or if you took it yourself, maybe it's a picture you took yourself. You went on vacation, found this cool looking, railing. So you want to use it, fine. Just put it yourself there, and then I can compare your image to your final piece. Because the goal is it needs to look like the same railing. These will not count. This is, how can I explain this? It's not a picture of a railing in place. It's a picture of a railing from a catalog. And really, it's practically ready to go. There is no perspective. There's hardly any distortion. And you can certainly select the background real quickly, right? It's pure white. That wasn't what I was looking for. I'm looking for you to be able to take the perspective out of a photograph and then also work with getting transparency when you have a multicolored background. Now, that being the case, this handrail is the correct height. So this person put the railing in like this. Well, that's first of all, that's not how they are going to install the railing. Secondly, that railing has to be towards the top, so the scale's off. That top of the railing here should have been the top of the railing here, and these posts here doesn't look like that. This is a better layout, okay? Where they move that railing up, they filled in the space, and it looks good. This is showing some lights on top. I'm not as much worried about that part of the modeling, but if you want to have it in your model, sure, you can do that. You can put the lights on top. But the top of the railing should be at the top that I have here. That's a standard height for railing height. Notice too that we did is we also divided this into thirds and we put a post on the back here, the same width as the other post, and then divided the thing into thirds. And then this is actually the texture here, and then the texture applied here and then slid over, texture applied here and slid over. And then that looked, that just looked fine. One person one year did this one, and although this is an interesting railing, there's no transparency. So if there's no transparency, you really can't use it. This one's perfect, and it's easy to get at. I mean, this almost looks like the church project right here, doesn't it? You can see the straight-on view at this angle. You can surely grab it. A couple of ways you can handle it. You can keep the top rail and the bottom rail, but you can also just get the baluster and create the model of the top rail and bottom rail in the SketchUp file I gave you. Another example here. This one, the person actually modeled the lid. But look at the spacing of these balusters. Are they this spacing? So this has been stretched to fit, and they stretched it too far. They needed to come in a little bit. This one here, the problem with this one is that you can see the repeat. Here's where it repeats, right here, right here, right here, right here. And I want it to be seamless. There needs to be seamless across the way so that you don't see a repeat. In addition, this is sitting on top of this flooring. Well, there's a gap here, right? And you can see perfectly well. So we want to try and mimic what we see here in the picture. So easily you can just grab a portion like this. This would be a good portion to grab, and then when you put it down, it'll look a lot more like the real thing. What this person did too is they added a line down here, and that line separated this top part from the bottom. That also helped because there's a little space here too. This is a little bit that I tried to avoid in the Cape Cod. Remember I said sometimes you get this perspective in your railings. I said I really don't want to do that. Well, there you go. See how this is, you can see the side view as well as it's off. If you get it something like that, keep the railing portion. You did a good job, but just go ahead and just make yourself a rectangle for the post and call it done. You know, this is good, except we've got this strange kind of wrapping around. Now it can happen. We can't have a post come out or a railing come out and turn over, but this is kind of a little bit too much. This is a better solution all the way around. So you got the posts in the corners, you got the post over here, and this is probably more what I expect to see. When you do put your texture in, just be a little more careful. I don't know how this happened, but the back of these posts ended up being the tile color. I wonder if they just did a rectangle and they push pulled up and they didn't think twice about the back of the posts. They found that the front of the post they grayed out, but not the back. You need to gray out. You need to gray it all out. It needs to look like a post, right? So if you make new railings, you need to make sure that it works. These posts look wrong. I'm seeing the sideways of it, right? As I said, I really don't want to do that. I want to go straight on. So that's a better post layout. All things have to be adjusted, right? So if you take a look at this is a railing, and then this piece here, and then you got the other piece over here, and you got a railing. So this isn't right. They got two posts here side by side. What they needed to do is slide this over a little bit so that the center post is a single center post, just like it shows here. And then you put the two post, pieces side by side. So all they had to do is position it just a little bit and get the right look. This other one, again, we're not designing railings. We're going to be putting in railings that are there. So in this case, this looks really cool. But the reason it looks really cool is because this is an oval shaped piece because it's going up the stairs and we're getting at an angle and all that kind of stuff. So we really need to clean this up. And it can be cleaned up from this image. How do we do that? First of all, get perspective out of it. So the first perspective is this one, where we perspective cropped it, looking at this as best we can. And then we picked these little corners here, these outside corners of this centerpiece, and we went up and out and over and perspective cropped that. And all of a sudden, now we have a half circle on the top, a half circle on the bottom, which is what this is. So I go ahead and erase the parts we don't need. And it was kind of tricky getting the parts we don't need. And then got the spacing. I cropped it so it's spacing. So this has a space, no space. Right? So if you think of this repeating, the next one over is going to be one of these, which is exactly what's in this hole. So this is the actual finished piece. Putting it back onto the deck, we actually added some lines because there's a top rail, a double top rail, a bottom rail. We got balusters, so we added these extra lines, and then we erased the lines we don't need, and then we painted in black, and then the infill we just infilled, and there it is, and it looks right. It doesn't look like a unique type of piece, right? This looks like this railing. This does not. So put the railing on, download it, clean it up, put the railing on, and then either give me the words of where I can find this railing. And it had to be a web page. Don't tell me it's from YouTube or if it's from Facebook or something like that. If it's not a web, if you can't give me an HTML or something file, I just bring the picture and put it there, just so I know that what you started with and that what you have looks like what you started with. And then don't upload this one. Hold on to this model assignment. We'll be doing the wall. It'll be we'll do something on that wall surface, and then you'll turn that in.